What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from the 10-7 MMA Show. We are back with our weekly Friday show. And yeah, it's been a great week. More importantly, it's been a massive week in the world of mixed martial arts. If you're a Conor McGregor fan, which pretty much, if you're a mixed martial arts fan, you're probably a Conor fan in some way, because Conor McGregor's movie came out yesterday, Roadhouse. It's a remake of the Patrick Swayze movie back from, I think it's the 80s or whatever when it came out. I'm not sure exactly, but I think somewhere in the 80s. And they did a remake of it with Jake Gyllenhaal, a lot of other amazing actors, including what's that dude from the Nelk Boys, the guy Bob Menery. Bob Menery's in it too. I actually thought Bob Menery did a really good job. I mad props to him, good acting. But anyways, Justin and I were talking last night. We both decided to watch the movie so we could talk about it today. So we watched it, and we're gonna talk about it. And we're gonna give our thoughts again with the context that it was meant to be a remake, and it kind of wanted to have that 80s feel, a little bit of cheesiness in there, and a little bit of that kind of just fun element. But anyways, let's dive into it a little bit. Let's talk about it. What did you think about Roadhouse?
You know, I really thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more. Ate a couple edibles before, thought I'd, laugh really hard. But honestly, it was really hard for me to follow. Like, I didn't like, it was just, I don't know, man. Like, they talked about when Jake Gyllenhaal talks about his past to be MMA, where he fights a friend and he beats him, but he hit him like one or two more times than he should have. It never really elaborates. Did he kill him? Is that why he has this chip
Yeah,
on his shoulder? Did he just fuck him up bad? Because I'm on Gyllenhaal's side on that. Like, unfortunately, in the game we play, you fight till the referee stops. So it never really went in depth about that. That was really confusing. I'm gonna have to watch it again sober, because as I'm watching it the whole time, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, this movie's wild, dude. I didn't really care for it. But
I get
again, I
you.
might rewatch it, or maybe like fast forward through some spots that I might not remember, because just the plot didn't really make sense. I mean, I understand that he's going to this beachfront bar and he wants to clean it up because it's such a great spot, and like, why are people attacking the bar to begin with? Like, why are people going into this like every night? Like, in the original Roadhouse, it was a biker bar. Like, it was a shitty bar in the middle of nowhere where bikers would go and party. And like, that's not this setup. This bar
Yeah,
is on a beach. It's a really nice area. Like, I come from Richmond, Michigan, and there's a bar in Richmond. There's two bars. One was called Amel's, and one is still around. It's called the Bell. Now, there are bars like this in real life. People go there looking to fight. And I'll tell you what, if you go there looking for a fight, you're going to find one. So I understand that aspect of it, but it's not like a nice area. We're talking about, we're in the middle of the woods where all my hillbilly friends are around. They're looking to bar fight. This spot, I don't know. I didn't really care for it. Again, the plot didn't really make much sense. His whole backstory of being in the UFC didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But Conor McGregor, man, I thought he did good for his first movie, his acting debut. He had a really corny character. I think he opens up being butt naked, walking around. Like, as I'm watching this, like, I see Conor walking away from the camera butt naked, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, why is he naked? Like, it was tough for me to follow. Maybe you
yeah.
could explain some things for me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you. So I watched a bunch of interviews and reviews after I watched it as well. I stayed up pretty late last night doing that because I was just intrigued and so the basic idea is there's a developer that wants to take over the bar so he can build this development and make a ton of money and whatever, and that's what he's been struggling with. So that's the whole plot. That's why he's sending guys over there to terrorize the bar, essentially, to coerce the woman into handing over or selling the property. That's the idea. And so the yes, that the character that Jake Gyllenhaal plays, the UFC fighter who took it too far, and apparently the whole idea of him going too far and actually killing the opponent, who was his friend, is
Did
that
they say he killed the opponent? Did he
they they
die?
they, they strongly implied it. I think that they kept. I don't remember if they actually said it, but I think they try to imply it or insinuate that yeah, he killed the guy and it was his friend and blah blah blah. And then at the end, or the last whatever 10-15% of the movie, that switch flips, and then he becomes like a pure psychopath, and then he's doing all the crazy stuff. He's killing people and not caring. And
Where are the police? At
yeah,
this beautiful resort, there's no security guards. Guys are shooting each other, killing each other. Like, The police
They were
never show up.
they were basically, I think they were trying to say that in that town, the police were like bought and owned by that guy, and it was all corrupt. I think that's the idea, and that's why she needed some outside protection because the cops were on that guy's payroll. I think that's the implication. You know, and then that one. Anyways, so let me tell you my thoughts. Okay, first of all, I thought Conor did amazing, me personally, but it's hard also at being such a big Conor fan. And it's really not even just being a Conor fan, it's being a fan of the sport. But like, I thought he did amazing. I thought all I was excited about for the entire movie was when is he going to come on the screen for the first debut? And when is he going to come back again? I just kept waiting to see Conor. I thought he's just electric, man. Like, I don't know. I'm sure he can improve in ways. Like, I'm not a actor, I'm not a movie critique or anything, but to the untrained eye, I thought he was really good, and I liked the personality that he brought to it. Plus, man, I don't know, there's something about the fact, like, if you're playing an action hero and you're playing a fighter and you're a real fighter, and I know you're a real fighter, and by the way, let me put up this title, and I know that you've been in real fights and you actually been a world champion, it just makes it so much cooler to watch him go into fights. And one thing, I kept wishing that he was the good guy and that he was the one that was like, if he would have been the Dalton character in my mind, or maybe in the future he'll do that. I don't know. It'd be so cool. And I can already see as Conor continues to work on his acting and maybe do some grittier roles in the future. I mean, imagine how cool it would be to see him. This was like a fun, cheesier movie by design. But imagine seeing him in some gritty movie where he plays a fighter, he plays a bouncer, he plays some character like this that's going through struggles, and then you see those fight scenes. It's just amazing. And in the fight scenes, I do want to say Conor looked amazing. I thought Jake did a really good job, given, you know, the fact that he's not a professional fighter. But I thought Conor really, really brought some realism. The last thing I'll say is I think they did a nice job with the fight scenes. The one critique that I generally have about fight scenes in movies, and I don't know if there's a way around it, because maybe because of the choreography, you have to do it this way. But I always get annoyed with there always seems to be, when one guy's landing a lot of combos, the other guy just like freezes. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, It's like, he'll be like boom, 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 boom. And he'll just throw like a 4-piece combo and the guy's just taking it all. I'm like, wait, that's not, he's going to be blocking and countering. Like, I'm waiting for the day when we have a fight scene that's a little bit more in line with that, but I'm sure it's progressing to that direction. But anyways, what I'll say is, if in my opinion, is Roadhouse the type of movie that I would have seen otherwise had Conor McGregor not been in it? No, probably not. I'm just being honest. Like, I like comedies, or I like a little bit grittier movies if it's going to be this style. But I'm glad I watched it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I don't know. I really was impressed with Conor's movie debut. So that's my 2 cents. But people seem to be liking it a lot. I've watched a lot of reviews, and people seem to be enjoying it. So anyways, I think this is a big step for the UFC, for the world of mixed martial arts, to have somebody enter the scene like this in their first movie. They got a major role with Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, like, that also has major implications for the sport as a whole. I mean, think about, has there been any big basketball player or soccer player that's gone in a movie like this in a role? Like, we had LeBron James, but really that's it.
Ronda Rousey was in The Expendables. Ronda Rousey was in a couple other ones as well. I didn't really care for her acting. You know, it's funny because I felt like her as an actor was very similar to her WWE character. So it kind of, you know, really walked around with the chip on her shoulder, really tough. But yeah, just to add on to what you're talking about, the fight scenes, I was thinking about this last night. It's funny you brought it up, like MMA fighting compared to movie fighting. You know, honestly, like, I think the reason they do it's just more action. You know what I mean? Like, guys need to get hit more. And in MMA and real fighting, like, you don't want to get hit. In the movies, this character's taking damage. You know, you want to see him get 1,000 times and he's bleeding, and, you know, just like Rocky, like, you look at the Rocky boxing matches, like, nobody can survive that kind of punishment. You know what I mean? Like, you know, ding, ding, wait till the, you know, it's, so I think it's just for the pure entertainment aspect of it, because I don't think real fighting will ever translate into movie screen fighting. It's too boring, to be honest, you know, and, you know, it's just because in movie theaters or movie fighting, or it's much more dramatic. There's much bigger shots. Guys are getting tossed around, getting thrown through doors. Like, real people can't take that. Real fighters can't do that. So I don't think it's ever going to transition to like a straight MMA scene, because unless, I don't know, man, it's tough to say. I think the talking to Jay Haran, if they have Jay Haran was, I don't know if he was in that movie last night or, oh yeah, he fought Jake Gyllenhaal in the UFC. Jay Haran was in it. I've seen him in a couple other movies as well. He fought Denzel in The Equalizer. I just watched an incredible movie called Cell Block 99, Fight on Cell Block 99. Jay Haran was in that. Jay Haran's a good friend of mine. I actually, when he got into acting, he couldn't watch his dog anymore. He trained at the gym. He's like, "Hey Jay, talking to me, could you keep my dog until the rest of his life?" So, anyways, Jay and I have a relationship like that. He just says it's totally different. He goes, even how they teach it is different. They didn't have Jay come in and show, hey, this is how fighting really is. They have Jay as a white belt and like, no, this is how you fight in movies. And they transition Jay into cinematic fighting compared to asking him to bring in what really works in fights.
Interesting. I wonder though, as MMA becomes more global and more popular, it's already so popular, but it's still growing. I wonder as the sport continues to evolve and grow, if people are going to want grittier, more, you're saying it's more boring, but to me, I actually would much rather, me personally, I'd much rather see a fight scene that's more realistic to what I've seen in the world of mixed martial arts. One example of that, by the way, is the TV show Kingdom. Now that's actually about an MMA gym in LA. I always joke with my MMA coach, Pete, who you've met. He's got a gym in Venice, and the guy in Kingdom has an MMA gym in Venice. I'm like, dude, I think they kind of are copying your life. But yeah, so that is a show that I think is really, really cool. Maybe one day it'll start to change, but I get that. Anyways, what I would say to people, if you haven't seen Roadhouse, if you have Amazon Prime, you can just go ahead and jump on and watch it. And I would definitely watch it. I would definitely give support to Conor. I mean, I think it's incredible, and I think he's going to continue this trend in Hollywood. So more power to him. But anyways, this is the other cool thing about this movie is that we're seeing Conor everywhere again. We're seeing him do interviews for the movie, so many interviews. And again, he's a real one. He's a fighter. You listen to the interviews where even a huge star like Jake Gyllenhaal, the other actors, and every interview I'm listening to, all I'm doing is I'm waiting for Conor to speak. And that's what made me realize, I'm like, dude, there's just something so magical and special about Conor that everybody, you're hanging on every word he says. Everything is inspirational. It has a purpose. There's passion behind it. And it makes you just, all these other typical Hollywood interviews feel so boring when he's right there and he just grabs the attention. So I was watching all this stuff and it just made me so excited about Conor again and hoping that he comes back to the Octagon very soon, which it sounds like he will. And I thought we could spend some time today just going through some clips of recent interviews and talking about what makes Conor so electric and why he's so incredible. So I picked out several clips. If it's cool with you, I'm going to show them to you now. I'd also love to get your reactions as well. And I encourage everybody to watch this. So the first one I'm going to show you, this is a clip from Ariel Helwani. And to me, when Ariel interviews Conor, it's the best interviews on the planet. It's just that duo, that back and forth is just absolutely phenomenal to me. So we're gonna shrink this down a little bit and let's check it out. Let's listen into a little bit of this. I don't know what this is. All right, here we go.
Is there a chance you fight the two fights and then test the market, or do you not have any interest in doing that? Would you like to lock something up before that?
Have the talk. We'll have the talk. That's what I'm saying. I don't know, and I don't know whether they know what to come at me with. What can you come at me with? We don't. Hollywood now is lined up. I actually can play loads of roles. Think of the amount of movies I could do. Amount of unusual crap. You know the way, like, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger and then there's like Sylvester Stallone and then all these guys, and they've all these great movies made around them. Think about the movies that you could make around me. You know what I mean? That could be written around me. And I don't think they don't know that. I don't think they don't know that this is all going on as well. So, I don't know what they're going to come out with me, but like I said.
So this first clip is just more about Conor's future. And again, he's talking about, I think it's a negotiation tactic, right? He's letting them know, look, I got a million options. I don't ever have to fight again if I don't want to. I can be in Hollywood. I can be a star. But again, just listening to him and that passion, that excitement, it just pumps me up. Okay, we're going to go to another clip that I have queued up here next. All right, let's check this out. And then we're going to talk about it. This one. Oh, wait, is it? Hold on. Yeah, I think it's this one here. Okay.
Shit around, so probably would have came at me already, and probably would on the table.
Oh, wait. Sorry, wrong clip. Here we go. This one. Hold on. Here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. My bad. All right, it's this one here. Okay.
Here, it's hard. He's so rich. He doesn't need to do this. The motivation isn't there. I see a very motivated person to fight again. Are you still motivated
Of course.
to continue this career and keep on fighting for many fights to come?
It's my life. It's what I love to do. Look at it. I'm doing this forever. I'm gonna do this forever. I'll be recalibrating my competition. I actually relate to it. When Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr. Right, he's retired for so long, and he was asked in an interview around the Roy Jones Jr. fight, "What do you think Cus D'Amato would say to you, Mike, now that you're not retired, now that you're coming back after all these years?" And you know what he said? He said, Cus D'Amato would say, "What took you so long?" And that made me I got goosebumps all over my body. We can become mentally fatigued, or depression and things like that get set in. You hear about it with people and post fight and whatnot lately and recent in the last while, and life, and it's just, I feel like it's more like mental fatigue, and the body you just get a little bit more fed up. That doesn't mean go all the way. Look at Aldo now. Great to see Jose back. Really happy to see Jose back. I was actually taken back.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it there. So again, to me, watching this, it just pumps me up, gets me so excited, because listen to the way he talks. He wants to do this forever. This is straight from love. We hear this argument. We hear Dana White say that he's too rich now. He's not going to come back, which I just don't think is true. And that's not him. And it's not about that for him. And hearing somebody speak like that about the sport that we love, and we want to watch people like this, man, I don't know. To me, it lights me up, and it makes me really excited. Okay, I want to show you one more clip from this amazing interview, and this is the true magic of Conor, in my opinion. This is him being himself, genuine, honest, and just reflecting. And again, I think one of the things that is special about him is, like, you hear him talk, and he transports you to how he's feeling and to what he's going through and what he's been through. And it's almost like you're on that journey with him. I think this is why he's been so popular. One of the reasons is because people do feel like they're on the ride with him. So check this out.
I certainly feel that the life I am living and have been living, it's almost so far removed from it's almost not reality. It's like it's fucking just gone. Look at even John, my coach. John is in the fucking New York Stock Exchange yesterday. I messaged him yesterday and said, the cheek of us is like saying the audacity of us, the neck of us, John, Ariel. When we were on the phone, we done the interview with you all them years ago, had literally no pot to piss in, famous quote, and the blueberries and all. Same with John. That was a big moment for us to be on your show. That back then, and it was, it almost began. It felt like the media whirlwind began at that time. And now here we are. I'm here going fucking walking the red carpet with Hollywood A-listers, and fucking as the star of the show, John's on the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and we're still tight as it ever been, and still fucking living the dream and enjoying it. And that's what this martial arts journey and life is about. Enjoy the ride. And
come on, man. It's just like, you just hear it. It's so good. I don't know if you feel the same way, but to me, it motivates me so much. It pumps me up so much. And him going back and reflecting, I mean, you can see this, like, as much as he might come off with bravado and being arrogant or cocky or whatever, in these moments, I feel like you see right to his core. And jump in if you disagree, or I don't know if you agree with me or not, but and you see him kind of break down and reflect back with fondness over this entire crazy. I mean, look at this crazy journey. He's probably the most famous person on the planet right now. One of them. I don't know. I mean, do you feel that connection with him, or does it get you excited, or is it not the same for you?
Here's the thing. It's not the same for me because I'm a fighter and I understand the emotional aspect of the game. I'm obviously not Conor McGregor, nor have 1/100th of the fame he has, but I get in the cage. I still deal with the mental monsters of dealing with losing, deal with training and all this stuff. And internally, we all feel that way. None of us want to retire. Look at Anderson Silva, at one point, arguably one of the greatest of all time. He lost after he broke his leg, he beat Nick Diaz, got recalled because of drug issues. Then he's lost every fight ever since, man. Like, we want to continue to fight. And Conor says, oh, yeah, I want to fight again. I want to fight again. Mentally, we always want to. And then you start dieting. And then you start training. And then you start thinking, like, well, if you're Conor McGregor, who can he beat? I mean, it's funny that that guy that I was arguing with on Instagram yesterday, he just commented on the Instagram again. But like, look at who can he beat? Name a top 5 guy he can beat, a top 10 guy he can beat. He's lost 3 or 4 fights in a row. By fighting, I understanding the want, man, and I respect that. I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's selling. I think he really wants to. But if he sits down with his coach and sits down with his management and sits down with Dana, who can they put him against? That's a top 10 guy that he can go in there and beat. All these top 10 guys coming up are hungry. They get a chance at Conor McGregor. They know it's the big payday. They're going to train double time. Is he? It's where I don't like the casual fan. Oh, like this guy I was arguing with yesterday, calling us clickbait and this and that. Oh, what do you know nothing? I know a lot, dude. And I'm a fighter, and my opinion is more important than yours. He's like, oh, well, Conor said it. Honestly, like you can see and you can see in his interview. I think mentally he wants to. I'm sure he wants to, but recovering from a broken leg, that nasty leg break in his last fight, recovering, now making weight. Who can he beat? And I understand, like, and he's saying, like, oh, yeah, all the moves they can make. Why would you go get your face pounded in and possibly ruin your legacy in the UFC? To some people, obviously, he's always going to be an all-time great, in my opinion. But some people are going to say he's washed up and this and that, possibly ruin his legacy when he can go make more money getting punched for fake and get twice the fame as Conor McGregor. Because remember, if Conor McGregor loses again and again and again, he's not Conor McGregor anymore. He's not the Notorious anymore. He's just Conor McGregor. And then when he goes into movies and he plays this badass in movies, it's like, look at Ronda Rousey, man. Unfortunately, she got fucking beat the fuck out of in the last 2 fights of her career, and she lost a lot of credibility. She can't beat anybody else. And again, I'm a Conor fan, man, and I hate when guys go out on their shield, especially when they've accomplished as much as he has.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he can't beat anybody else. These guys that are up and coming, that are hungry, that are in the gym 7 hours a day while he's out on his yacht partying. Again, Dana White says, what's his motivation? Most of us fighters, our motivation is to get to the top and to make money. Well, he's already been to the top for a long time. He never defended his 45-pound belt. He never defended his 55-pound belt. What, are they going to throw him into a title contention after losing 3-4 fights in a row? Or are they going to ask Donald Cerrone to come back and rematch it? Like, unfortunately, man, I understand what he's saying, but unfortunately, as a fighter, our mind thinks one thing and our body just can't do what it used to do. And, like for me, for instance, man, I can't, like when I was training before I got to the UFC, and even when I got in the UFC up until my neck surgery, I wake up at 9, I train from 9 to 1, or I go to the gym from 9 a.m. to 1. I'm on a break from 1 to 3. I go back from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock every fucking day. Now, since my neck surgery, maybe I'll go in at 11, train for an hour, 11 to 12, and then I coach from 12 to 1, maybe 10 to 1. And then I don't go to the gym till 5 to 7, 5 to 8. I'm almost half the time. Not because I'm being lazy, it's because I just get hurt all the time at that pace. And to fight, to train the way he's going to have to train to be able to compete against anybody that's halfway decent, he's going to have to go above and beyond physically. And regardless, I mean, look at Henry Cejudo, who hasn't even really dealt with any serious injuries. I mean, that's a perfect example. He's 35 years old. He was a 2-division champ, and he has that wrestling work ethic. Wrestling work ethic is harder than any work ethic than any other sport in the world. And if anybody wants to argue with me, they're just fucking stupid. There's not football, not basketball, not tennis. I'm not saying you don't have to work hard to do those things, but wrestling is the hardest sport in the world. And Henry Cejudo has that mentality and that work ethic, and he still couldn't even bring it together. So I just don't see Conor being able to do it. I understand what he's saying. I respect what he's saying. And he might even genuinely believe that. But, I mean, he hasn't. When's the last time? It's been like 3 years since he's fought. 4 years since he's fought. Like, you're just going to take 4 years off?
Yeah, I think it was July of 2021 or something, right?
And he talks about how Mike Tyson is coming back. Like, there's going to be a lot. This something's weird about this fight. And I don't think. I hate to see Mike go in there and get hurt, but something's weird about this fight. I don't like it, man. I don't know why Mike's doing this, especially against, Jake Paul. Like, he can really get hurt. Like, Jake Paul can kill Mike Tyson. Like, he's 60 years old. He gets cracked on the chin. He might never wake up again. Like, why is he doing this? And people aren't stupid. Like, he's 60 years old. Jake Paul is a young, strong, whether he's an incredible boxer or not, he can kill Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's brain has been rattled his whole life. Since he was 18, he's been fighting since he was 18 years old. He's been in prison. He's done this. He's done that. Like, his brain is susceptible. If I go up to a 60-year-old man and punch him in the head as hard as I can for one time, let alone for however many rounds they're going, like, he could fucking die. And that's why I think that there's going to be some weird stipulations. And I've said this before publicly, and I've said it on camera, off camera, like something is fishy about this fight, man. Because okay, for instance, if I go to fight for, say, Tough Enough,
Yeah.
Tough Enough that's in Las Vegas, who I'm commentating tonight for, and I can't fight a guy that's fucking 5-5 or 10-8 because I have 17 wins and they see it as a mismatch. This guy is 60 years old going against a strong, fast, explosive, juiced up, hungry fighter. Like, what is the commission thinking? What are the doctors thinking? There has to be some stipulations, and again, I'm getting off on Mike Tyson when we're talking about Conor McGregor, but
No, it's all good.
I appreciate his generosity. I appreciate him. It does sound like he's genuine, and he has to sell that genuineness to the fans to make them believe. But again, ask who can he beat? And this guy got in an argument yesterday. I'll say it again, like, oh yeah, he'll fight as the first card. How are you going to split pay-per-view buys with Conor McGregor's the first fight on the card? The casual MMA fan are mostly buying this pay-per-view to watch Conor, not to watch Jamal Hill, not to watch fucking Justin James, not to watch Jose Cavadia. They're watching it to watch Conor McGregor fight. So
Right.
after that first fight, then what? People are, oh, I got this. Fuck, the main event's basically over for me now. It doesn't make sense. People need to realize that I appreciate him sounding genuine and all this, but at the end of the day, as genuine as you want, like it's still really hard to pull off.
Wow. Okay, a lot of info there, and yeah, you made it actually some real. I know we went off a little bit on a tangent of the Mike Tyson thing, but that's a really interesting point. I haven't heard anybody talk about it that way in terms of the risk and the age being actually a risk of fatality. So that's really interesting. I want to look that up and see if more folks are talking about that. That's a good point. And then bringing it back full circle to Conor, all I can say is this, man, I listen to him and I get pumped up. What you're saying, though, may very well be true. And I hope it's not true, because it does get me excited. It's sort of like the Santa Claus idea, right? Like, you want to believe. I want to believe what he's saying because it's so inspirational and so exciting. Like, I love Conor's interviews. I love listening to him talk and reflect and get excited and get motivated, because it makes me motivated about things I'm doing. Like, believe it or not, that's one of the reasons why I love the sport so much, because it gives me so much inspiration. I get a ton of inspiration from him in particular. So I just hope he keeps showing up and keeps coming back. And I guess we'll see what happens. All right. Well, that's enough about Conor. We focused on him quite a bit today, and I wanted to, because he's just been all over the place the last week or two on this press tour, and we're excited. We hope he comes back. The UFC lawsuit was settled for just over $300 million. That might be, hopefully, a reason as to why they can now open up the discussions and get things moving, as Conor has said. And I hope it's true. I hope they really are finalizing a date. And let's see him square up against Mike Chandler. You said, who can he beat in the top 10? Let's see if he can beat Chandler. And then I guess we'll take it one step at a time. All right, moving on. We're continuing to kind of preview some of the fights on 300 today. And we're going to dive in deeper as well as we get closer in the week of. But today we want to chat a little bit about Tsarukyan versus Oliveira. Now, Justin and I, before the show began, we rewatched Tsarukyan's last fight against Beneil Dariush. And it was incredible. It was a first round finish. If you guys don't remember, within like a minute and a half of the first round. And we were watching. Justin, I want to turn over to you first. Just give us your analysis of what we saw. I don't want to play the video because I think we'll get a copyright strike, but give us an analysis of what you saw that impressed you from Tsarukyan in that minute and a half victory.
So rewatching the fight real good, I'm glad we did, because there's a lot of little things we can take on it. His jab, incredible. Yep, you there?
Oh, we lost Justin for a second. Yep, we're back. We're back. Go ahead.
Tsarukyan's jab, he has this really long guard. Like, he plays with his jab hand in front of him very, very long. And something he did with Dariush is he'd play in and out. So he'd jump in, jab, whether he missed or not, he'd get out immediately. All right, so in Dariush's mind, it's like, all right, he's just coming in with that jab. I need to try to time that jab and come over with an overhand. But Tsarukyan was so good at getting out, he was making Dariush miss. So Dariush is loading this big overhand, which big overhand, but he was missing. Now, from Dariush's standpoint, again, I fight a lot like Dariush in that aspect. I'm going to take some damage to give one, take one to give one, we say. Well, when you're coming in, or when somebody's coming in and on you and then getting out, you really have to close that distance. So at the very end of the fight, he comes in with a standard jab. Dariush holds his ground because he can't back up if he wants to land that shot. Tsarukyan clinches him, knees him in the head. the end of the day, he probably collected 50 grand on that. So again, what I'm going to say about Sarukian that really impressed me with the Dariush fight is the setup. He used his jab, he used his range, so he could get into range, get out of range, get into range, get out of range, get into range, knock him out. So it's a conditioning method. And it's like when I fought what's his name, the kickboxer from ATT in the UFC, he set me up big time. So he'd step in, jab, cross, bang, bang, and then he'd stand, jab, cross. So I remember thinking in my Gabriel Benitez, he step in, jab, cross. So I ate two shots right on the forehead, and I remember thinking in my head, like, oh, those shots don't hurt. Next time he steps in, jab, cross, I'm winging my overhand. Well, he conditioned jab, cross, out, jab, cross, out, jab, cross, out, jab. I step in to throw my overhand. He throws his rear knee, sends me fucking packing. Again, he conditioned me to hold my ground to land that shot. And the same thing I think Sarukian did to Dariush. He jab, out, jab, clinch, knee, fight's over.
Right on. Now, by the way, as my buddy Josh, he said, I didn't realize Sarukian is that good until that insane KO. Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk about this match, the matchup. Now, we've obviously seen Oliveira fight a ton of times as a champ. What do you now feel in terms of this matchup, seeing what we just saw with Sarukian coming in against Oliveira for this fresh matchup?
It's a totally different matchup here. And Oliveira having such an incredible grappling background, but we can't forget about his striking as well. He has long reach. He can play behind his jab. He has an incredible left hook that he only needs to land one time. Now with Sarukian coming in, what's the game plan? Is Oliveira going to try to counterpunch? Is he going to try to throw that left hook as Sarukian's coming in? Is he going to try to engage in grappling? I'm not really sure. I'd like to watch some more fights of Sarukian to see what his grappling is like. I mean, Oliveira might just wait for him to come in on that jab and pull guard. So really, this is a great matchup. It's going to be Sarukian's really test here. Oliveira, we're talking about one of the greatest lightweights to compete in the UFC. This is a step up in competition. I think Oliveira is a much tougher opponent than Beneil Dariush. So I don't really have a fight for this. It really just who shows up. Sarukian's going to be hungry, though. We talk about being the champ and then losing your championship and then and trying to come back. Like, that's really mentally tough. Can Charles Oliveira be mentally strong enough to battle through the briar patch and get it done with an up and coming hungry Sarukian? I don't know.
Okay, well, that's what's going to make it such an amazing fight. All right, we are on to our final topic for today for this Friday. And the last topic I wanted to bring up was, who do you want to see Robles de España fight next, the amazing Cuban fighter? So just to give you guys a quick recap here, I pulled up his last fight, which was very short. This guy is insane. And then I've also got the rankings pulled up, so we're going to talk about that too. But look at this. This is crazy. For those of you guys who missed it.
Than his previous two. He's in red, Josh Parisian in green.
He's so low.
Tags him going backwards. One of the most insane things I've ever seen. And what was that? Within the first 18 seconds? It's crazy. So anyways, Taekwondo background, heavyweight that moves like, I don't know, we say a middleweight. He moves, he's super flexible, throws those high kicks, wild. Who do we want to see him go up against next? And as we talk about this, I pulled up the rankings. I want to show you right now, according to rankingmma.com. Here, let me share the screen. We've got him ranked at number 28. Okay, so let's check this out. So, Justin, what do you think of? So, here's Robles de España. I think I'm pronouncing the name right. I watched Ariel pronounce it. He's usually always got those correct. Who would you want to see him fight next in these rankings here? Let's extend it down a little bit. Is there anybody up here, or should I go higher up?
Keep going higher. What's crazy is I don't even recognize half these guys. Dude, I tell you what, I want to see him fight Derek Lewis.
There you go. Wait, where's Derek Lewis ranked? Oh, he's ranked 11th. That would be sick.
Here's the thing, with this guy, Rubelis. Like,
yeah.
I was really like Josh Parisian. He's from Michigan. We've trained together a bunch. Super good guy. Very, very tough. But leading up to, it was only 18 seconds, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. But it seemed to me that he throws a lot of single strikes. When he threw that high kick on Josh, it wasn't like he was like 1-2 high or jab high. Yes. He just, uses his power and his range and just throws it, and same thing with his punches. Like, he had that really weird right uppercut. Again, It was only 18 seconds, so I don't want to dissect it too much. But can this guy really put together combos, or is he just, a one-hit pony? I mean, he hits so hard, he only needs to land one punch. But when he gets in a firefight, and again, he was kind of in a firefight for when Josh was coming forward. But I want to see this guy fight another. He fights Derek Lewis. It's going to be a striking match. We're going to have, two big, strong, powerful guys. There's going to be no grappling. There's going to be no wrestling. These guys are going to go out, and that's why I say Derek Lewis, because Derek Lewis can knock him out. He can knock Derek Lewis out. But with the more credentialed striker in Derek Lewis, can Robillas put combos together to land these big shots instead of what we see in the first 18 seconds against Josh, where he's just throwing single punches and single kicks, which to me is very amateur-like. And you can see that he beats Josh Parisian and throws him up into 28th. The heavyweight division is just so shallow, and I mean, he's already ranked 28th in the world after one fight in the UFC. I just think it's just because the heavyweight division is so shallow. But right now, like I said, my front runner is Derek Lewis.
Got you. And by the way, another right above him, Tai Tuivasa. That could be a great fight too. So maybe either of those. I don't know if he'll get such a big bump. I don't know exactly how that would work, but he's exciting. He seems to be really promising.
Actually, I like that matchup better. Tuivasa's lost now 4 fights in a row. I think actually I like that matchup better than Derek, because this can be a contract negotiation fight for him. If he loses 5 in a row, bare knuckle is going to start calling Tuivasa. So this could be Tuivasa's like, all right, we got this up and coming guy. He's knocking everybody out, in the first 30 seconds of the fight. All right, Tuivasa, you're a knockout guy. Let's put your UFC life on the line right now against this up and coming stud.
And by the way, I was just kind of glancing at some of his other fights. He does seem to do a lot of those single strikes, but who knows? I mean, he's an Olympic gold medalist in Taekwondo. I'm sure he does have some combos and things like that he's got lined up. But so far, it does seem to be the case that he's just, man, he's leveraging that power, and he's so exciting. But man, that's incredible. Let's hope. Derek Lewis versus Robillas de España. Let's see if that comes to fruition. All right, guys, that is it for our Friday show. Again, today was kind of like a big homage to Conor McGregor. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, please click that like button. If you want to see more from the I almost said my other channel. If you want to see more from the 10-7 MMA show, make sure to click that subscribe button. And that's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Justin, thank you as always, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take it easy.
All right, see you.